First, confirm me I'm audible.
Yeah, you are audible.
Thank you. Good morning, everyone. I hope you all having a bright and cheerful morning. Welcome to our newspaper session. So, where you will learn this session is help vocabulary improve and stay updated with the world. So let's make learning and let's with our first participant, Club. Club, are you there?
Yes.
Please go ahead and tell me article number.
Yeah. My article number 4.
Yeah, start with your article number.
Guilt driven by the challenge of an all formats as present. In the fast-paced world of Indian cricket and spotlight now firmly sits on Shubham Gill. He was appointed Test captain in May. Got back into the T20I side as vice captain before the Asia Cup in September and has just been entrusted with leadership on the 50-over outfit ahead of three ODIs against Australia later this month. The announcement of
Bro, Australia during Captain Shubham Gill one day ODI format. Vice captain is Shreyas Iyer.
Sorry to interrupt. SS, please mute yourself because during the session, yeah, Club, you can start.
in his first media interact since the change of leadership became public. The 26-year-old shared has thoughts on the honor. It is obviously a big responsibility. I am very excited to
Yeah, Club, you can start. Club, you are not audible.
hello. Am I audible?
Yes, now you're perfect audible.
I am really looking for a word to want. The future has just wanted to win everything we have in the upcoming months. He told the media Gill's all format presence means he will have a lot on his plate in the near future. Mental fatigue. Asked about the physical and mental toll it could take, he responded more than physically. Sometimes there is mental fat, fatigue, fatigue because when you are constantly playing, there is a cap, curtain expectation expectation that I have for myself, and to be able to keep up with my own eh, expectations sometimes becomes a challenge. That's the challenge of being able to play all formats. I want to succeed in all the formats and win ICC tillage. If I want to do that, then uh, this is the challenge I have to go through. How much will has captaincy in ODIs differ from has a style in test? Not the same. Captaincy in red ball and white ball cricket isn't the same. In test, the better team does win at the end of the day. The challenge is to stay on top for 5 days in a test, and that is more difficult than captaining in a T20 game, he said. I have done this article. I am going to summarize this article. Mm. It talks about Shubham Gill, who is now taking relationship leadership roles across all cricket formats, Test, ODIs, and T20. He became the Test captain in May, the T20 vice captain before the Asia Cup, and now the ODI captain for the upcoming series against Australia. Gill said it's a big responsibility and he feels excited and proud to lead India. He also admits that contest cricket can cause mental fatigue, uh, but he is motivated to perform well and win ICC titles for the country. He explains that a test captaincy and white ball captaincy are different. Tests require staying strong for 5 days. White T20s needs faster, sharp decisions. I have summarized done.
Thank Kalv for
Yeah.
reading. That was a that was a great effort, and yeah, and yeah, your tone is very clear, so that's good. And reading some mistake, but no worry. One day is totally fine. So daily join this session and improve yourself. And
Okay.
summarize it shortly to good. Thanks for joining this session. Thank you, Clive. Okay. Anybody add the some point from this article? Okay. Uh, okay, so now I will move the next participant. So next is me. My article number is 10. Okay. 10 articles as well. Yeah. Hello, Yamini. Are you there? Okay, I will start. Okay, my 7. How India UK Pact partly blunts US 10 policy hit. These steep tariffs on India have affected major exports categories, particularly lower intensive and have targeted investment unsanitary in India. This comes uh, as a competitors such as Vietnam, Bangladesh, even even China currently face lower tariff, although and deal is being negotiated with the US. The implementation of the UK deal expected by July next year not only a strongest India's trade di- diversification, a, a strategy for goods exports, but also improves linkage with one of the world's most developed survived sector economics. UK market access UK market access fell to contact. The hit from US tariff may take several years of export diversification efforts and absorption of India products by trade partners across the global as India stands to lose nearly $40 billion worth of US bound exports annually. The UK deal could somewhat cushion Indians' lower intensive sectors. After the deal comes into force, India products will be potentially at par with competing countries, especially in the textile sector. The UK annually imports $27 billion worth of textile products, and India's total exports to the UK in 2024 stood at uh, $13.5 billion. However, all lower intensive sectors may not see much needed relief, with a 4% dirty elections in the game and jewelry sector under the trade deal. A key lower intensive sector for India may not benefit much from the UK deal compared to the losses it suffers in the US market. India's schemes and jewelry sector exports to the US in FY25 stood at $9 billion and are facing a steep tariffs. Will India export to the UK under this category are worth $941 million. The deal may offer limited upside as the UK's total imports are only $3 billion in the games and jewelry category, with total imports of over $20 billion. The UK is one of the largest markets for electronics exports, and the duty eliminations across product categories ranges from 0 to 18% opens a significant market for Indian products as the India's exports in the category are growing rapidly. I did buy apples presence Indians' share in the UK market could register sharp growth over the year. However, competitors in the UK market included China, which for outperforms India in both of engineering and electronics categories. The UK is also a largest market for engineering goods, being largely a survive sector economic with tariff as high as 10% on iron and steel products. Indian products could see exports rise in this category. The UK steel market size was approximately $32.13 billion in 2024 and is projected to reach 42.74 billion by 2033. Our percent Ministry of Commerce and Industry. The UK's plans to impose of carbon border adjustment mechanism could restrict India exports despite to tariff reduction, but this could also offer an incentive for the Indian industry to decarbonize in line with borders global requirement. While larger industries may manage this swiftly, Indian MSMEs without uh, government government support may not be able to survive. Sectors who boast a key beneficiaries of the India-UK deal could be the survive sector with the H-1B visa fee visa fee hike and US base being elected. Even in survive sector, the UK deal could help India party offset the possible hit from changing US trade policy. The UK is one of the largest and most developed survive sector economies in the world. The UK survive sector is largest contributor to India's economic, accounting for 55% of gross value added, while the UK survive sectors accounts for 81%. The Ministry of Commerce has said that the UK has taken full commitment in computer and related services, giving credibility to Indian business plannings to invest in the UK. The government said that the agreement aligns with India's goal be becoming a global hub for high-value services. As the greatest UK investment and cooperation will boost India's digital economic and skilling initiatives. The Indian-UK trade agreement could shift British companies' approach to India from a low-cost partner of research and development, analysts, cybersecurity and emerging technologies, and ministry said, adding that it will also support the growth of global capability centers that several UK-based business or deliver global services from India. So I have done my reading part. Now I'm summarized from this article. Yeah. Okay. Yeah. So this article is mention how the Indian-UK trade pact helped soften the blow of US tariff on India exports, especially labor-intensive goods like textile. Well, US tariff kills uncertainty and loses the UK deal tariff because by mind 2026 offers India better market access, particularly in textiles and survives. So UK is major importer of Indian textile, means $30.5 billion in 2024, and the pact partial tariff relief could help India compete better globally. So deal also open growth for electronics and engineering goods, despite tough competition from China. Notably, that fact boost Indian survive sector, so which is a major part of both economics and support Indian business in teach and digital survives. So overall, this India UK agreement could partly offset and the negative impacts of US trade policy by providing a strong alternative market and enhancing cooperation in high-value sectors like IT, cybersecurity, and research. So that's all from my side. Anybody at the some point? So welcome. Okay, now I will move the next participant. Who is the next? Yeah. Jam, are you there? He is not here. Adil, are you there?
Um,
Good morning, Adil.
yeah, very good morning.
Okay, so
Okay, okay, my article is 21.
yeah, sir, carry on.
Okay, I try to reading and after read, my English is not good, but I try to explain. Okay, heading Israel, Hamas agree to Trump release ceasefire deal and hostage release. And this article heading Israel says all parties have signed the first phase of the deal in Egypt in follow a 20 points peace plan announced by the Trump. Israel's Smotrich said he opposed the ceasefire. Hamas disarmament to be addressed in the second phase, says US President. Okay, start this article. Israel and Hamas on Thursday agreed on a Gaza ceasefire deal to free the remaining living hostages in a major step towards ending a war that has killed thousands of people and unleashed a humanitarian catastrophe. Israel said that all parties have signed the first phase of the deal, adding that the release of the captives would bring the end to this war. The agreement in Egypt followed a 20 points peace plan that announced last month by US President Donald Trump after more than 2 years of war sparked by Hamas' October 2023 attack on Israel. US envoy Steve Witkoff said the American leader would travel to Egypt next week for an event celebration in conclusion of the agreement, with Mr. Trump himself saying, I'm going to try and make a stopover. We are working on timing, the exact timing. Despite celebration in Israel and Gaza and fraud of missiles from world leaders hailing the deal, numerous issues remaining unsettled in the negotiation, including the plans of call for Hamas to disarm and proposed interim board of peace, led by Mr. Trump himself to oversee Gaza's administration. Senior Hamas official Osama Hamdan said the Palestinian Islamic movement reject the plan Palestinian Authority. No Palestinian would accept this. All the factions, including the Palestinian Authority, reject this, Mr. Hamdan told Qatar Al-Bas Broadcasting Al-Arabi. Mr. Trump said this is the issue of the Hamas surrendering its weapons. Weapons would be addressed in the second phase of the peace plan. A ceasefire was to take place in Gaza within 24 hours. Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu convening his security cabinet for meeting. However, Israeli far-right finance minister Bezalel Smotrich said he opposed the Gaza ceasefire deal. The final draft of the phase one was signed this morning in Egypt by all parties to reach all the hostage. Government spokesperson said source Bedrosun said told press persons. A source within Hamas said the group would exchange 20 living hostages all at the same time for nearly 2,000 Palestinian prisoners as part of the deal's first phase. That's it. And I will try to explain help of this article. This article about the ceasefire of prisoners, Hamas and Israelis. This article in this happening before 2 years a conflict between Hamas and Israel. Hamas is Gaza and Gaza is part of Palestinian, and happening this on 7 October Hamas group attack on Israel, and then Israel attack daily and spoil a lot in Gaza's people and homes and massacre like that. And then Israel and Hamas deal between hostages. Hostages by Hamas disarmament arrest by second is U.S. President and hold this ceasefire, Donald Trump. So the agreement in Egypt follows 20-point peace plan for Gaza announced last month. U.S. President Donald Trump said about that. Israel and Hamas on Thursday agreed ceasefire deal free remaining living hostages. Major steps were ending. And first phase of the deal, adding that the release of the captives would bring the end of this war. And Trump, U.S. President Trump, after more than 2 years, also sparked by Hamas 2023 attacking Israel, said about that the U.S. investing without Witkoff said the American leader would travel to Egypt, going celebration conclusion. An agreement with Trump himself is saying. Despite the celebration in Israel and Gaza, message from world, all leaders and members signed that in Egypt, ceasefire and dealing with ceasefire Hamas disarmament are be addressing in the second phase. And Mr. Trump himself over see Gaza's administration for plans to Hamas to disarm and proposed interim board. And senior Hamas leader named Osama Hamdan already said about the Palestinian Islamic movement reject the plan transitional authority and including the Palestinian Authority reject this. Mr. Hamdan told Al Qatar based broadcasting in Qatar named Al Arabi broadcaster. And in second phase of the peace, Mr. Trump said Hamas surrendering its weapon would be an interest in second phase. And after ceasefire was taken hold in Gaza within 24 hours, Gaza Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu convened his security cabinet meeting. In cabinet meeting, finance minister name is Israeli finance minister name is Jalel Smotrich said about that opposed the Gaza ceasefire deal. The final draft of phase all parties, all members signed in Egypt for release to hostage. Government spokesperson Bedrosen told press person. Okay, and 20 living hostages are all at the same time. Nearly 2,000 Palestinian prisoners are part of the drill's first phase, a source within the Hamas said group. Okay, that's it. Thank you. I done, ma'am. How is it?
Uh, Thank you, Adil, for taking part. That was a reading is good and summarize is also good. All point highlighted. That's good. Thanks for joining this session and keep it up.
Yeah, I'm welcome. I'm also thankful.
Yeah. Uh, Anyone add some point from this article?
Yes, Siddhi, I would love to add one or two points only. I will not
Yes.
repeat the points. First of all, good morning and thank you, Siddhi. So, as Adil already read the article and he has given the crux of the article so beautifully. So, I don't want to be duplicating the work here. But the only thing that I want to highlight here in this deal, as the article is also mentioning about, you can go through the article and accentuating some concern of the deal, right? The first concern is disarming of the Hamas because somehow they seems to be not agree on this particular point, and then the peace board, because the peace board would be working under the tutelage of the Americans, or so to say Donald Trump. That is their another worry, and this point has become the bone of contention, because when we say that it is to be done under the tutelage of the Americans, which means that there would be a great say of the Israelis, because Israelis are completely puppet of the Americans, and Americans would be taking or disseminating any sort of decision in favor of the Israel. That is the another worry for the Palestinian authorities. That's why they seems to be very reluctant to accept this. And the third point, this I think that this uh, deal could be a complete fiasco. I'm hoping and I am sanguine that this deal to be successful, because it is the matter of the innocent civilian from both the side. And I do believe that this time around, at least the complete handing over of the hostages would be done, because this is the instrument for Israel to relentless attack in the Gaza Strip. But what had happened in the erstwhile deal, that was also supposed to be complete in the three phase, but unfortunately, this turned to be a complete fiasco that could not be successful. Because if there would be more phase in the deal, then there is the less possibility of the deal to be completed successfully. And the same thing is being, you know, offered in this very 20-point peace agenda deal as well, because it cannot be done over a night. It is supposed to be done in the different phase. So I am hoping that this would not turn like a erstwhile deal, a complete fiasco. So Hamas somehow seems to be reluctant on disarming itself, because they do want, especially Israelis and Americans, there must be the complete annihilation of Hamas politically, and they must disarm themselves completely from the Gaza Strip. So I think this will definitely going to be the bone of contention in near future. Then the beast board and then the phases of the deals seems to be little bit confusing for me as well, because erstwhile deal also failed because of the different phases. So let's see. I am hopeful, because ultimately it is for the peace, for the reason it is for the innocent people from both the side. I'm not saying that only Gaza are becoming the Gazians are becoming the victim. Also, Israelis are being killed as well, right? So I'm very sanguine about that these would be successful, but at the same time also reluctant about to be successful. Yeah, thank you, Siddhi.
Thank you, Shivam sir. Uh, okay. Uh, Next is a B2K.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, Shivam sir, continue.
Okay, Siddhi.
B2K.
Yes, yes.
Okay.
B2K, you can start your reading. I will be hosting from now.
Thank you, sir. My article number is 7. I'm going to read that. Hamas takes a big risk with hostage release. Hamas took a significant risk by agreeing to release the remaining hostages in Gaza, giving up much of the leverage it has with Israel. With no certainty that it would achieve all of what it wanted to in return. The Palestinian group had long said it was willing to release all the hostages in exchange for the complete withdrawal of Israeli military forces from Gaza, a permanent end to the war, and the release of Palestinian prisoners. The deal reached on Thursday. 1 minute, sir. Just my mom is calling me. Sorry for the inconvenience, sir. My mom was calling me. It wouldn't work. And I'm just continue my reading. Uh, the Palestinian group had long said it was willing to release all the hostages in exchange for the complete withdrawal of Israeli military forces from Gaza, a permanent end to the war, and the release of Palestinian prisoners. The deal reached on Thursday only guarantees one of those three things: the prisoner release. There is no certainty it will lead to the end of the war, and initially it only provides for a partial withdrawal of Israeli forces. Analysts say that was a bigger compromise that reflected how Hamas has been severely weakened during the war and had come under tremendous pressures recently from important allies such as Qatar and Turkey. Hamas just made major concessions, said Asmat Mansour, a Palestinian analyst who spent years in Israeli jails with Hamas leaders. It is taking a risk in believing the war will end, but it also has few other options at its disposal. The deal does not address a number of issues that have been stubborn sticking points in past round of Gaza ceasefire negotiations, leading them of the future discussions. According to two officials from an Arab mediating country, the outstanding issue include a plan for post-war governance of Gaza and Israelis' long-standing demand for Hamas to disarm. These officials said that by agreeing, Hamas put its trust in the United States to ensure Israel does not restart the war. In future negotiations, Hamas could still extract concessions from Israeli, possibly leaving it with some access to weapon and a role in post-war Gaza. Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu has constantly says Hamas must be disarmed before the Gaza war can end. Hamas has long regarded that as a tantamount to surrender and views armed struggle as a legitimate from the resistance against Israelis' control over Palestinian lands. A long road is ahead of us, said Mansour, the analyst. My reading part is completed, and now I am going to summarize this article in my own way. The headline is Israel and Hamas agree to Trump peace deal and hostage release. I just gone for the another headline. Hamas take big risk with hostage release. What happened in this? Hamas agreed to release the remaining hostages in Gaza. By doing this, Hamas gave up some of its power and took a big risk because they didn't know exactly what Israel would give back in return. Hamas said it would release hostages only if Israel stopped attacking Gaza and released Palestinian prisoners from Israeli jails. The new deal is seen as a partially victory but not a full one. And it is risky for Hamas because many experts say Hamas has become weaker after the war. It was also under huge pressure from countries like Qatar and Turkey to make peace. So, by releasing hostages, Hamas lost one of its biggest bargaining tool, I think. and something it could use to demand more from Israel, because they have only one choices to bargaining, and the deal does not solve all the main problems. For example, it does not clearly say what will happen to Gaza's future, or whether Hamas will give up its weapon. This question will be discussed in the future peace talk, because Trump already said this. And Israel still want Hamas to disarm. Disarm means that give up all the weapons. I think this means. And Israeli still wants Hamas to give up all weapons before the Gaza war officially ends. Israeli Prime Minister Netanyahu has said Hamas must give up all weapons before any final peace deal. And overall, Hamas has taken a big gamble. It released hostages without knowing exactly what it will get in return. It hopes that by doing this, Israel will stop attacks and peace talk will continue. But it's still unclear if this move will really help Hamas, or I think that it will really help Hamas or weaken it more in the long run. In short, I just want to summarize. Hamas frees the hostages to show goodwill and push for peace, but it's big risk because they lost their strongest bargaining power, and now they have to trust what Israel will also keep its promise. That's all my points clear, and I just want to summarize. Like, just thank you.
Okay, thank you, B2K, first of all, for coming here and reading the article. So your reading was good, but I found only little 2-3 pronunciation mistake, and that could be in the hurry. It happens sometime, but apart from that, everything was quite fine. And you have given a very beautiful summary of the article as well, encapsulating all the points which are being surfaced in the article. So thank you so much. You have given the beautiful crux. And despite if anybody want to jump in the bandwagon to say something about the article, so they are most welcome. Anyone else, or else I will be moving forward. As I already explained something about the news in the previously read article, so I would be moving forward to the next participant, that is S. Seni, I think. S. Seni, are you here?
Good morning.
Good morning. Please pick and go with your article.
Okay. Good morning, all of you. I am reading article number 12. India needs a unified mental health response. On October 10, every year, World Mental Health Day highlights the extent of mental illness in the world. Over 1 billion people, 13% of global population, suffering from mental illness. India is a part of this, with a 33.7 lifetime prevalence of mental disorders in the country. India has legally prioritized mental health through the landmark Mental Health Care Act 2017, which guarantees the right to mental health care, decreeless suicide, mandates insurance coverage, and insurance patient dignity and autonomy. This legislation covers nearly 200 million Indians affected by mental illness in Sukhdev Saha Bases, state of Andhra Pradesh. The Supreme Court of India reinforced mental health as a fundamental right under Article 21, thereby legally binding the government to ensure accessible, affordable, and quality mental health care. The government's district mental health program, DMHP, covers around 767 districts, expanding access to counseling, outpatient service, and suicide prevention, and also signaling a significant attempt to decentralize mental health service. The launch of Tel Manas, a 24/7 mental health helpline number, has enabled over 20,000 2050 Tel counseling sessions, improving reach in underserved areas. Additional school-based government programs such as Monodrathan have reached 2 crore students nationwide. The hurdles in India, but challenges persist. The National Mental Survey NMHS 2015-16 revealed treatment gaps of 17% to 70% to 92% across disorders, with an 85% gap in common disorders such as depression and anxiety. India's mental health workforce remains scarce, with only 0.75 psychiatrists and 0.12 psychologists for a 1 lakh population. India falls short a World Health Organization WHO guidelines requiring at least 3 psychiatrists for 1 lakh people. Even though the DMHP has extended its coverage, various studies reports the DMHPs function poorly in various states across the country. Shortcomings extend to medicine availability as well as where often primary health centers report stockouts of essential psychiatric drugs. Rehabilitation service vital for recovery and social integration meet less than 15% of identified needs nationwide. Deep state stigma continues to exist. A recent studies indicates over 50% of Indians attribute mental illness to personal weakness or shame. These failures result in millions dropping out of pathway before treatment begins, of completing them only partially, thus perpetuating disabilities and economic loss estimated at over 1 trillion annually by 2030. The global prevalence of mental disorders is about 13.6%, but Australia, Canada, and the United Kingdom report mental health treatment gaps of 40 to 55%. Though significant, it is far lower than India, 17% to 92%. These countries also allocate 18 to 10% of their annual budget of mental health. In India, it is only 1.05%. WHO International Classification of Disease ICDS second diagnostic manual includes emerging conditions such as complex post-traumatic stress disorder (PTSD), prolonged grief disorder, and gaming disorder, all of these which are absent in India's mental health policies and guidelines. Therefore, limiting ordered care models. These countries have adopted mid-level mental health providers who delivers nearly 50% of counseling service. In India, the workforce remains centered around urban specialist doctors. Mental health services are universal and insurance coverage exceeds 80% compared to under 15% in India. Digital and school-based mental health programs reach 20% to 30% population in advanced countries, while India's Telmanas, although promoting with 53 Telmanas in the country, needs deeper uh, penetration across all regions. These countries also maintain robust mental health surveillance system for real-time cascade monitoring, which India lacks largely due to fragmented data collection practice and inadequate funding. The deep-seated problems, socio-political stigma in India remains high, limiting political polarization and innovative policy momentum. Coordination between the ministries responsible for health, education, social welfare, and labor remains variable, causing fragmented mental health initiatives. Research fundings for mental health is also much less than total health research budgets. Restricting evidence-based decision making despite an increasing budgetary allocation for mental health. The 1.05% share of total health spending remains insufficient compared to the WHO recommended minimum of 5%. Workforce shortages are worsened by resilience to mid-level provider roles, given the dominance of specialist-centered models. Moreover, rural population, which constitute 17% of India's demographic, face service scarcity of mental health professionals. Steps taken to address this profoundly unmet need India must undertake comprehensive policy reforms. The government should increase the mental health budget to at least 5% of total health expenditure. Facilities, infrastructure, workforce recruitment, and medicine supply, scaling mid-level provider training and deployment would ease as urban-rural disparities and surpass the WHO minimum workforce density. Full integration of mental health into primary health care and universal health insurance scheme should guarantee accessible, affordable care nationwide. Updating national diagnostic manual and policies to include WHO ICD-2 disorders would enable focused intervention for emerging mental health conditions. Establishing a rigorous cascade-based monitoring and evaluation system at the district and state level with linked budget could improve accountability, track treatment, dropout, and guides targeted resource allocation, expanding anti-stigma campaign, particularly with school and workplace, and ensure that mental health literacy reach over 60% of educational institutions by 2027, will encourage early help seeking. Finally, stronger inter-ministerial coordination aligning health, education, social justice, and labor policies can create a unified mental health response, maximizing synergies and outcomes. I have completed my reading parts. I am going to try summarize. So these articles, this news all about the World Mental Health Day and what is the condition in India and the world of the suffering from some mental health persons. So as we know very well, today is the 10 October, and 10 October every year we celebrate to World Mental Health Day. And World Mental Health Day is the awareness of the mental health. So in these articles, the authors mentions that in the globally populations, the 30% populations, they are suffering from mental health problems, mental health issues, and in India, there is the 30.
Yes, Sunny, you are not audible. Is he audible to others?
No.
Yes, Sunny, if you are listening me, you are not audible. Yes, yes, Sunny, are you there? You are still not audible, brother. I think you are facing network issue or anything else. By the time you fix your network, so if anybody want to say anything about this article or they want to put forward their point of view, so they are most welcome. As Sunny, you are
Hello,
not
sir.
audible. Yes, yes, now you are audible. Please go on.
I am audible, sir.
Yes, yes, you are now audible. Please go on. Do it fast, as Sunny.
Okay. Now I am going to summarize. This article are about the mental health issues, and as you know we very well, today is the 10 October, and 10 October every year we celebrate to World Mental Health Day, and is the day for the awareness of the mental health. And in this article the author mentions that the 13% of the world populations suffering from the mental health issues, mental health problems. In India, there is the 13.7% populations, they are suffering from the mental issues. Now India is going to the Mental Health Care Act 2017, and on that acts, they have to rights. Everyone have to rights and guarantee to rights to mental health care. And Article 21 also says that it is the government responsibility. Everyone can get the mental health care, and that mental health government should be the accessible and the affordable treatment for the every health mental health problems is persons. In India, DMHP district district mental health program running on in India, and it is the coverage of the almost maximum district 767 district. And there is also a Tel Manas, that is the helpline number, who have problems of the related to the mental health, he can contact. And but they are doing poorly in India, because there is the many regions behind it. And what first reasons is, we have no in this article author says we have no workforce, we have no proper budget. And other side, national mental health survey comes, and in that national mental health survey shows that we have to the treatment gaps, 17 to 90% across the disorders, and the 18% across the in the we can say anxiety, depression. So there we have the gap between the treatment gap. Other side, he says that other countries as like Canada, as like Australia, as like USA, they have awareness, and they have to the 30 to 20% reach approach of their population, that they have to rehabilitation center, they have to put counseling centers, they have to good budget they provide to the good budgets. But other side, in India is just spending 0.1%, 1.5% of their budgets on the mental health. And we have to this cultures where we have to feel to the some shame, and we don't want to say openly. And mental health means we don't we don't we don't talk to the openly. We have to this culture. And other side, they says that we need to the some reforms on this, how we can how we can improve in this field, because there is the major problems. And so he says that we need to the recruitment and workforce, we need to the increase of the workforce, we need to the increase to the budget also, and we need to the reform the policies. And other side says, the author says that we need to the in the school based programs for the mental health. And we should be the campaign by the campaigning and awareness of this mental health issue, we can increase, we can decrease this type of this type of problems. And we need to the rehabilitations and the cares provide to the psychiatric and psychologist centers. And we can increase, so we can reduce this type of problems. And other side, in other out of India, Australia, Canada, and USA, they are doing well. And but on their author says that they have to the 14 to 30%, 30% cases, but India is now raising this type of problems rapidly. So in this article, the author says many of the things. So that's all about from my side. Thank you very much.
Okay, thank you so much, Sani. The one thing I just want to say about reading, there were quite pronunciation mistake that you have made while you were reading your articles. So some of them, like just a second. So you were making some pronunciation mistake. Otherwise, everything was quite decent. You are taking a proper pauses in between as well, like decriminalization, perpetuating, or some other word. You need to work on your pronunciation part. This is what I can say to you for the time being. Apart from that, you have given the good summary as well. You tried well in order to disseminate your thought to the rest of the participants. Almost it was good prospect from your side. The one area that I need to accentuate to improve for you, that is only your pronunciation part. And that only could be dissipated by you can get away with this problem only reading more and more, right? And if somebody is facing the pronunciation problem, so I always suggest one thing. I also make many pronunciation mistakes. It doesn't mean that I do not do the same, but at least we need to we need to make a consistent effort to get away with this. So what you can do, you can start reading the NCERT's book from a very beginning level. Like you can start from 7th class, 8th class, or if you think that they are very normal, so you can go a little beyond than that, like 9th class, 10th class. So that would definitely help you out to improve your pronunciation part, rather than directly jumping into the advanced vocabs or advanced word. That would definitely be putting you in a difficult situation or in a mayhem. So this is only the suggestion from my side. Rest is on you. But apart from everything, was you delivered a quite good prospect related to the article.
Thank you, Shivam. Thank you. Thanks for your valuable feedback. Yeah.
Yeah, thank you. And thank you so much. Try to be consistent in the activity. So if anybody want to jump in the bandwagon to explain this article further, so they are most welcome. It doesn't mean that you have to say only whatever is being surfaced in the article. You can also put forward your point that what you think about the mental health problem in India. Almi, could you please mute yourself? Almi, are you going to say something? So I request admin to mute the Almi because he's not muting himself or herself, I don't know. So this article is being done beautifully by the SNE. So I won't be repeating the point, as we know that this is a very huge problem in our country. So
Hello,
what is
Shivam.
the biggest problem? Yes, go on, please.
I would like to say something about mental health.
Yeah, go on. Do it quick, Sandeep Prasad. I was saying that why didn't you come?
Uh, Actually, I was also suffer from mental health issues, but now I'm totally get over this issues. So I would like to add some point regarding this topic. So according to my perception, the mental health refers to one the individual emotional, psychological, and social well-being, and it influences how people think, so feel and behave in daily life. It also affects the decision making, the stress management, the relationships. According to the World Health Organization, the mental health is a state of mental well-being that enables people to cope with the stress of life, realize their abilities, learn well and work well, and contribute to their community. So, impact of the poor mental health and impact of the productivity. The poor mental health leads to the lower of workplace and the performance, increase the uh, absenteeisms and reduce the efficiency. So, and the second thing is the social and the emotional well-being. Mental well-being that affects the interpersonal relationships, self-confidence, and the social interactions. And the third thing is economic impact. According to the WHO, mental disorder contributes significantly to the global burden of the disease, and untreated the condition can lead to the high economic cost. So the mental the scenario in India, WHO data insight. So India contributes 18% of the global populations. WHO estimate that burden of the mental health problems in India is disability adjusted life years. So the population, the age adjusted society rate, I think 10,000 population in the 21.1 economic loss due to the mental health conditions, and the lifetime prevalence of the mental disorder in India in 30.7%. I think national studies reveal that 15% of the Indian adult the population experience mental health issue requiring the intervention. The urban areas have the higher prevalence and 30.5% compared to the rural 6.9% of the, and the treatment gap of the 70% to 92% of the people who mental disorder do not receive proper treatment due to the lack of awareness, stigma, and storage of the professionals. And according to the Indian Journal of the Psychiatry, Indian has the 0.75 psychiatry per 10,000 people, whereas WHO recommends that at least 3 per 10 100 sorry 10,000. And inside the from economic survey 2025, the mental well-being is the ability to navigate the life challenges and and the functions and the productivity. Recognizing is important economic survey 25. The highlighted that the mental well-being, the ec- ec- economic compasses of all the mental, emotional, social, and the cognitive and the physical capabilities. This can also be the constitute as the mind of composite health, and it emphasizes of the whole community an approach to the tackling of the mental health problem, and it stated that It's about time to find the viable and impactful preventive strategies and the intervention. India's demographic depended in the ridings on the skills, education, physical health, and above all, mental health and the youth. To enhance the mental health education is schools early the intervention strategy to address the anxiety, stress, and the behavioral issues in studies, and improve workplace mental health policies, address job stress and the long working hour and the burnout, explain digital the mental health services, and the strengthen the tales of the manas and the integrate of the basis of the mental health solutions. And the most important thing as a part of the national mental health program.
Sandeep, sorry to stop you in between, but I would like to conclude you fast because there are some other participants waiting in the queue. So please do
Okay.
conclude it.
Yeah, I'm done. I'm done.
Okay, thank you so much for whenever somebody is coming to add any point, so please try to, encapsulate your point only in 1 or 2 minutes because we must understand the compulsion that there are many participants are waiting in
Okay,
the queue. So
I
thank you
get it.
so much, Sandeep, and I extol your effort that you are disclosing that you have gone through the mental health problem. So this is a very big problem
Yeah.
in our country that people are very reluctant to tell it to the people. And as the article is also
Actually,
talking
you
about
know
that,
what?
this is one of the
That
biggest
time,
problem.
yes, that time I had gone through the rapid test of
Yeah,
life and I was suffering
I,
from
I,
mental
I,
disease.
I got your point, and I extol your effort that at least you are disclosing. And we need the
Yes.
people like you
You
to
know, brother,
disclose their mental health problem.
just because of yoga and physical exercise, this is the main reason to get out of this disease.
Yes. And next, you are in the queue, so please choose, pick, and go with your article. Do it little fast, Sandeep. Sandeep, are you
So can I
listening
read?
me?
Yeah, can I read my articles?
Yeah. Please go and pick your
Okay.
article and do it fast.
Actually, my article number is 30.
Yeah, go. Start reading.
Okay. Wait.
And my number.
So I'm starting this article. First of all, good morning to everyone. The title of this article is Stop the Blast. India must implement the safety protocols for the units dealing with the explosives and the blast of the five acres units and the five Sabram village in the Konasima district in the Andhra Pradesh that the claimed 8 lives is the latest in the series of the accident that they have the punctuated the weeks leading up to the Deepavali. Year after the year, and the unit was amongst 18 firecrackers manufacturing units in the district that had a safety audit about the month ago, and the unit had been issued the licenses by the district collector. Such an incident have been reported in the districts in um, year year light ago. Earlier ago, the 3 days and ban of the firecrackers, the manufacturing has been imposed, and fresh safety audit has been ordered. It would appear that to no anomalies were found in the audit, and no uh, sorry research, firecrackers of the manufacturing has been imposed on the fresh safety audit has been ordered. It would appear that no anomalies and were found in the audit, and no red manufacturing unit, and there are the 18 other units in the district that the procure the sales the crackers wholesale during the seasons. So while the firecrackers manufacture is not the major activities in districts, there are some the seasonal units that there were the 10 people in the units that use the chemical of the manufacturers the crackers when the electrical fire led to the explosions and the collapse of the wall. And the authorities have found of the difficult to the identify the date, and would point to the poor record the keeping further the um, Konasima is the basin, which is of the expensive oil and the gas drilling and the transport the operations, including the pipelines. And the fire accident can be um, devastating is the spread of these facilities. And the firecrackers manufacturing is not the major economic activities across India, um, bearing Tamil Nadu not always high. The Konasima would seem to be one of the such case, and then the nodal of agencies that the licenses these units of the petroleum as the implosive safety licensing with the elaborate safety protocols. Fire needs fuels and air the source of the ignitions, and the crackers manufacturing units of have been the combustible and the sorry, materials which are the fuel, which is the why sources of the fire must be completely absent. It is for this reasons to the electric equipment and the switchboard must meet the high fire of the safety standard and should um, instinctively protect the against of the starting of fire. Even if the electric fire were that to start it should not spread to the areas where explosive chemicals are used, and added the layer of the safety typical of the PESO. The protocol so is that the electric equipment can only be the operated when no human would be present. But it would seem that such elaborate the protocols were the either absent or poorly implemented in Konasima, and the accident shows that there is a case of all such units of the cross the country to scrap pulsely apply to the high level of safety protocols of PESO. Yeah, I'm done my reading part. Uh, yeah, I'm audible.
Yes, please summarize it now.
Yeah. Yeah, I don't want to summarize because there are so many people who are waiting for their turns. Okay,
No. At
so
least try to summarize in few words. It's not like that. I can at least give you 1 or 1.5 minute. Please go on.
okay.
1 2 minute you can take.
Okay, I will summarize in short. Okay, so I think I have to minimize the catastrophics of the risk of human life, the properties, environment, life. Um, am I audible?
Yes, you are audible. Please go on.
Okay. Um, so I think that to minimize of the catastrophic of the risk of both the workers and the public, it must strictly ensure the comprehensive safety protocols for the use of anti-explosives, lacks of the regulations and the insufficient oversight of the have led to the tragic accidents of the past, highlighting the needs of the rigor of the implement of the informants of exciting guidelines. So I think the Indian government must implement such a protocol that there is no and this kind of incident will happen. Yeah, I'm done. Yes.
Okay, Sandeep, thank you. And you have given a brief summary as well. So, the one thing I only want to say to you, try to read in a calm way, right? Try to
Okay.
truncate your pace little bit. You seems that you are in a feverish manner reading the article, the whole article, that if there is the full stop, so you need to take a little pause, right? You are continuously starting reading from one point to another. Reading comes up with many attributes, so you must adore the point, inculcate the point. If there is comma, semicolon, full stop, so you need to take pause in accordance with those pauses, right? When you are
Okay.
changing the paragraph, it must be vigilant to the participant as well. Now this reader is changing the paragraph, so it seems like that you are messing up everything. You are
Okay, sir.
not
Okay.
running anywhere else, right? Be in a
Okay.
calm situation, be in a calm state, and then try to read calmly. So
Okay,
this
sir.
is the only feedback I want to give you for the time being. So now I will be moving forward to the next participant. Although I am in the queue, but I would like to pass my turn to the Sikha ma'am. So Sikha ma'am, are you there? Sikha ma'am.
Yeah, yeah.
Yes. So good
Good
morning,
morning,
ma'am.
everybody.
Please
I
pick and
want
go with your
to,
article.
yes, it is article number 15.
Okay, please go on.
It is a big article. The curious history of how quantum mechanics came to be seen in an electrical circuit. The work that won the year's physics Nobel Prize lay at the end of a chain of ideas that created a breeze from the quantum world of particles to the microscopic world of devices. Kirke, Devornet, and Martinez showed that microscopic system can exhibit quantum tunneling and energy quantization. Quantum mechanics is usually described as the science of a very small of electron, atom, and photons that behave in ways that defy the rules of everyday's experience. Yet, one of the most striking results of modern physics is that this quantum behavior does not vanish abruptly when systems become large. Instead, it continues to show itself in the behavior of groups of particles doing something together. Over the years, physicists have learned how to engineer these groups, measure them, and even control them to perform specific tasks. In the 2025 Physics Nobel Prize has been awarded to John Clarke, Michael Dvornet, and John Martinez for showing in their experiment that quantum tunneling, a phenomenon in which a particle passes through an energy barrier instead of having to climb over it, can occur not only in their subatomic realm, but also in an electrical circuit big enough to see with, with the naked eye. Their achievement came at the end of one particular chain of ideas stretching back to the Brian Josephson, a British physicist, who first described how pairs of electrons could tunnel through an insulating barrier between two superconductors, and Anthony Ligzet, who later proposed that an entire circuit's collective state could itself behave as a quantum object. Together, these ideas create a bridge from the quantum world of particles to the microscopic world of devices. The single quantum wave. In 1962, when Josephson was a 22 years old graduate student at the University of Cambridge, the Bardeen-Cooper BCS theory has explained superconductivity in a superconductor. Electrons move in pairs known as copper pairs, forming a collective state that flows without resistance. Josephson wondered that what would happen if the two superconductors were separated by a thin insulating barrier? Would the paired electrons simply stop at the wall? Or would they tunnel through, since that's something physics allows using the maths of quantum physics, he showed that it was possible for a super current, that is a superconducted current, to pass through even if there is no voltage across the barrier. The result was revolutionary. A current could flow identifiably across the insulator purely because of the particular relationship between the two superconductors. Josephson derived a simple formula linking the current to the phase difference. In a superconductor, all the electrons that form copper pairs act together as a single quantum wave. And like any wave, this collective quantum state has a phase, which can of, think of as a measure of of how far along the wave cycle crest to go through it is at a given point. When you place two superconductors next to each other with a thin insulating barrier between them, each one has its own quantum wave and its own phase. The phase difference is simply difference between there's two phases. That is how much one wave lead or lags between the other. The difference is not just mathematical, it's also physically real and it controls how electrons tunnel between the superconductors. In fact, the current that flows across the junction depends directly on the sign of that phase difference, which is what Josephson expressed in his formula I is equal to I sine phi, where phi is the angle expressing the phase difference. Imagine two synchronized dancers performing the same steps. If they move perfectly in synchronize, no phase difference, they look like one. If one dancer is slightly ahead of the offset that their phase difference creates visible interference in their motion. Similarly, when phases differ, that offset drives a beat between them, producing a current even when no voltage is applied. The next great leap, Josephson also predicted that if a voltage were the current would oscillate at a specific frequency proportional to that voltage. He also told that if the setup were illuminated with microwaves of that frequency, there should be a measurable voltage across the barrier. When other researchers quickly confirmed this prediction, this Josephson effect became a cornerstone of in quantum electronics. In 1972, the BCS theory won the Nobel Prize for Physics, and Josephson followed the next year with the prize for his work. The visualize the Josephson effect. Imagine two reservoirs of water separated by a thin glass wall. Classically, no water should across it, but the quantum world waves associated with the molecules on either side of can interfere and create a small but steady leak through the wall. The dispersion junction, which is sandwich of two superconductors and an insulator, is the electrical version of the improvable leak. The supercurrent does not arise from a push of or voltage, but from the coherence of the quantum waves themselves. Coherence here means the ability of the system to maintain its quantum character. And because of this coherence, a Josephson junction can behave like a single quantum entity, even though it consists of trillions, trillions of electrons, trillions of electrons. The next great leap on this chain was that of the British American physicist Anthony Lizet. By the late 1970s, physicists knew Josephson junctions behave in ways consistent with quantum theory, but they are also demanded a deeper conceptual question: could an entire microscopic variable, such as current flowing in a circuit, obey the law of quantum mechanics as if it were a microscopic particle? Lizard then young theorists with a background in superfluid helium recognized that reception junctions offer the ideal testing ground. He proposed treating the phase difference between the two superconductors. Remember, a collective property involving trillions of electrons as a single parameter moving it an energy landscape. In his modern, the system resembles a marble. The system resembles a marble trapped in a valley between two hills. The marble represented the phase difference. The hills represented the energy barrier, determined by the junctions, current, and capacitance. If the marble has enough energy, if it could roll over the hill, corresponding to the junction switching a zero voltage state to one with a finite voltage. But even without enough energy, quantum mechanics allows the marble to tunnel through the hills, appearing on the other side without having to go over top. Sorry. Over top, Lizette predicted that at a sufficiently high temperature, when there was not enough heat in the system to push it over the energy barrier, a microscopic variable of the system could tunnel through. And this could be observed as a small current that's independent of the temperature. Something remarkable, his work did more than propose a radial. That's all about the article. The article tells about the unexpected behavior to show when two superconductors are separated by a very thin insulating barrier. We know that quantum mechanics is an advanced part of modern physics, and its that is characterization of electrons, atoms, and photons. And it's already we have use of we already use it, and but that is another surprise. That is in 22. That is sorry. That is junction. Whose name? I don't find it. Yeah, I got it.
Josephson's junction.
Yeah, yes, yeah, that is he also in the year 1962. He was at the time a graduate student of the University BCS area, as explained. Super Shepherd BCS theory has explained. That is, he also work in this way. That is the two super conductor that is which is already that is told you that is separated by a thin insulating barrier. Then a current is also produced, and also without any temperature. And this is also called also the Josephson junction. And in he also won the Nobel and in this regard. But afterwards, that is it is who is it? That is David, you know? Whose name is what is his name? His name that is next. That is I don't find that name.
You can go without name, ma'am. You can just give the crux.
That is and his name is that is like that. That is he also to explain in a good way, that is simply and in this article. But I do not allow this because the time is very uh, uh, not Lizette, that is a young theorist with a background of superfluid helium, recognized that Josephson junctions offer the ideas testing ground. He also proposed that treating the phase difference between two superconductors, that is it is possible a single, that is it is not that is small current, that can be used in also small devices, but also it can be used in a big purpose, and that is you can it is also possible, that depends on the insulators which is uses. And that is for this reason the essay also example, that is marble forces difference, and here we can want to, that is the barrier as a hill, and represent the energy barrier determined by the junction's current and capacitance. And it is possible, that is to build a chain by the insulators and to pass out the electrons flows, and because it creates this pair creates a trillions of electrons, and we know that flow of electrons is a current. So by this way, from a 0 voltage state to one with a little voltage, we can have a great energy. And yet this invention, that is, I think, predicted the great world for this. That is the quantum mechanics, and also the that is the insulators. That's all.
Okay,
You
Sikhaman,
can
thank
add
you. I
some
think
points.
you come from, yes, I will try. You come from the background, so I think that's why you have chosen this article. And this is a very important article, I would say rather, because the Nobel Prize has been given in the field of the physics, in medicine, and in chemistry as well. Yesterday, we were reading the article related to the Nobel Prize in chemistry, that was Metal Organic Framework, MOFs. And day before yesterday, we were talking about, I think, Nobel Prize in medicine for the autoimmune disease. And this article is talking about the Nobel Prize in physics. And this is a great discovery, by the way, microscopic quantum tunneling. And why this is a revolutionary study? Because usually the quantum physics law cannot be applied in the classical physics. So this was a very good case of applying the quantum physics law in the classical physics. As they are talking about the quantum tunneling, right? The beautiful
Yeah.
example has been given by the author who has written this article. So they have given basically two beautiful example. I have a
Hmm.
very layman information about the topic, very layman information about the topic. But what could I decipher from this article? That suppose that you have to climb a hill, suppose that you are going and a hill fall before you, so you have only one situation. Then if you want to go from one side of the hill to the other side, so you have to climb up the hill. But what happens in the quantum physics, right? If an electron to pass through this hill, so electron will automatically tear apart the hill and will be making a tunnel, right? From going one part of the hill to another, rather than climbing up the hill, right? It will take more of time, more of energy, and more of things would be required in that particular system then. So this is called quantum tunneling, making a tunnel from going one part of hill to the others. As the other example also been given by the author here, right? Suppose that there are two water body. What basically Josephson has done, right?
Hmm.
So he had two superconductor. So if they are connected to each other, definitely the flow of current would be from one superconductor to other. But they have given certain condition. There must be phase difference and coherence. These are a very technical physical term, right? Phase difference you can understand in a common way, that as they have given an example of the dancer. If the dancer are making every step simultaneously, if there is a complete coherence, right? You would be not able to decipher their step. You would be treating that as a whole one system. But if there is a little bit lag of their step, and that lag is continuous and stable, that would be called then the phase difference. So first there would be the phase difference in the activities of the flowing of the electron, and then the coherence must be there. Then what would happen? Even after the zero voltage, they would be passing through from one superconductor to other. But what would happen if we would dip a insulator in between the two superconductor, right? Would the electron be passing from one superconductor to another in this particular situation as well? And this particularly the barrier that they are calling about, that the insulator Joseph's junctions. So now he had to observe whether these electrons could pass from one superconductor to another by tearing aparting this Joseph's junction or making a tunnel. That's why this is being called the quantum tunneling. So what he had found, that yes, electrons were able to pass through even after putting an insulator between the two superconductor, as the author has given a beautiful example of two water bodies. If two water bodies are separated by a thin layer of the plastic, right, it would be very difficult for water body to flow to each other in a classical physics, right? But in quantum physics, it is possible for electron to making the tunnel and tearing apart from that particular insulator or that particular obstacle. But what is the importance of this particular discovery? These were the quantum physics law. Now they are supposed to apply those quantum physics law in the classical physics, which can easily be visible by our eyes, because this is the limitation of the quantum physics, that it's not easy to bring up those on a practical level. But now these quantum physics laws are being applied in this particular case scenario, as they are talking about the microscopic quantum tunneling and energy quantization in electrical circuit, right? Which means that now we can develop these sort of circuit where there would be the minimum energy required and electrons or current easily can flow even after at a zero resistance. But what is the impediment before it? You have to maintain a very low temperature, and you might have heard about the cryogenic state is required, and this is not a very easy technology. It requires lots of effort, very advanced technology. Even ISRO is still working on the cryogenic technology to maintain a consistent low pressure in order to bring up those quantum physics law in a classical physics. And we can literally make the application in the various field, whether it is the supercomputer, quantum computer, or any other sort of things. So ultimately this discovery paved the way for various opportunity in the field of the physics, and would definitely be serving in a positive way to the humanity in the next coming days as well. This is what I believe, and this is earth-shattering and groundbreaking discovery that the Josephsons and some other scientists had done. So this is basically called quantum tunneling and energy quantization in electric circuit, and that's why this Nobel Prize is being delivered to these three scientists for their tremendous effort in this field. So I think I have done from my side. Sikha ma'am or anyone else want to add anything? So they are most welcome. Otherwise, I think it's time to wrapping up the session.
Only 1 minute, sir. I will took.
Yes, yes,
It
Akash,
is
go on,
very,
please.
very difficult article, but he given a brief explanation regarding the dances. When the two dancers are dancing in a sync, what there is a no differ between the face of the dancer. When the one dancer is overhead, uh, like he's dancing, not in a sync means there is a differ, some differ. If we took two persons when they are dancing, okay, like you everyone observe the tribler not another song, there will be perfect sync the two persons. When there is a differ, one person is dancing very fast pace and another person is little bit slow pace, it creates some kind of face differ. And he tell that it is a quantum somewhere else he connected with that superconductors, and the phase differ that offset drives a beat between them and produce a current even when no voltage is applied. Like that he differ, and he make that phase as a quantum computing, as a tunnel. That's all I got from the article regarding his own explanation for
Yes,
explaining.
yes, yes. You define the phase difference so beautifully. Phase difference basically a difference between the two moving particle. You can say that they are in a moving state, but everything is not synchronized. There is little bit change in their state. Suppose that I am moving my hand at a 90-degree, right, consistently, and you are doing it parallelly. So there would be the phase difference, but the situation must be stable. But both of us are consistently moving our hand at a 9-degree, then it would be considered as a single system, right? So for phase difference, there must be a difference with a stable continuous situation. This is called the phase difference, and this is a very technical physical term, by the way, but you explain it beautifully, and as the article is also talking about. So is anyone left from the queue, or we have done with the all the participant of the day?
Phase difference is a common that is idea. That is all. What are also like that. There is no phase difference, then not flow. Current also like that. It is a common idea.
Yes, yes,
We
yes, yes.
only have experience in everywhere. So,
So
but
Akash,
mm,
ma'am, we are supposed to wrap up the session now. So you can continue your discussion. But Akash, please stop the
Okay.
recording and wrap up the session.
Yes, yes. Thank you, sir, being a host today for the session. Thank
Yeah,
you,
it's always a
participants.
great pleasure to me, Akash, for giving me this opportunity here today, hosting the session. It was literally a very gargantuan delectation for me to holding the participant here and putting my view forward. Yes, Sikha ma'am, now you can moving forward with your discussion.